total badass who crash landed that plane and made it out okay.
I gotta say, the amazing thing about Harrison, and I don't think anybody out there will be surprised, is that he is the only person that can make an emergency landing on a golf course in front of 2 doctors. So he's home and resting and getting well as fast as he can. I can't even begin to tell you how much he wanted to be here. But maybe next year, but at least by the time we open this movie, I know that Han Solo will be very actively involved in what we're doing.
I was going to say, I was texting with him yesterday, and I was going to go over and see him, but he didn't have time for me because his friend was coming over for lunch, and he was like, not today. I'm like, all right, whatever. But he sends his best, and he's doing great and working hard, and that guy is, I had respect for him all my life, but I've never had more respect for a guy until I saw that how he landed that plane. That was an amazing thing that he did. He's more of a hero in that move than I think he's been in all the movies he's been in. It was an incredible thing to do.
So we're going to give a shout out to Harrison Ford. I don't know if you're watching the live stream. Thank you so much. Let's talk about some of the other new faces that are going to be in this film. So there are 3 lead characters that you want to talk about.
Yeah, we have. We were very lucky. We obviously went through the process that you go through in searching for actors. It's the typical long, tedious audition process. I will tell you that we could not have ended up with 3 more talented and wonderful actors and people. We have Oscar Isaac, we have Daisy Ridley, and John Boyega.
What can you tell us about the characters they play? Ray, Finn,
well, I'll tell you, I think rather than me tell anything about them, I think they should. We should Please welcome Daisy Ridley, John Boyega, Oscar Isaac.
What a loving cast. That's all about.
Yeah!
Whenever you guys have appeared in public, have people ever asked you about Star Wars before? A little bit?
Just a little bit, yeah.
I've never been anywhere like this, so this is like crazy.
There's still a lot 7 months out that you can't talk about with regards to your characters, but maybe you could give us a little tease of who they are. We've seen them in the teaser trailer. We saw that image up on the screen. Let's just go one by one and tell us, where do we discover Ray in this movie? Daisy.
Hey y'all, again. We discover Ray on the desert planet Jakku. She is a scavenger in like a ship graveyard, and she is like completely self-sufficient. She does everything for herself and very solitary until she meets another character and an adventure begins.
That leads us to John Boyega. And Finn. So Finn is the first character we see in The Force Awakens. He was the first face that appeared in that teaser trailer last November. John, he's in a stormtrooper uniform, but people are wondering, is he in disguise? Is he an actual stormtrooper? So tell us, how do we meet Finn in this movie?
Well, first of all, Star Wars Celebration, what's up? So we find Finn, he's in incredible danger, and the way in which he decides to react to this danger changes his life, number one, and launches him into the Star Wars universe in a very unique way. So I can't wait for you guys to see it.
he is a stormtrooper, right? You can confirm that? He is a stormtrooper. John, everybody knows stormtroopers are bad guys. So are you a bad guy or a good guy in this movie?
My memory's just gone.
Never call? We'll come back to it some other time. Oscar Isaac.
What's up, everybody?
The only character on stage who has two names, Poe Dameron. We see him piloting an X-Wing fighter. We saw you in the uniform there. So tell us about playing this guy. Who is he?
He's the best freaking pilot in the galaxy. That's who he is. He's been sent on a mission by a certain princess. And he ends up coming across Mr. John Boyega's character, and their fates are forever intertwined.
So the three things I find fascinating that you have a stormtrooper and an X-Wing pilot potentially working together with a scavenger. Sort of ticks all the boxes. There are a number of actors that everybody knows are in the movie but are not able to join us yet, and you've got time to reveal them.
We have this incredible cast, some of whom you see here, including Adam Driver and Andy Serkis. We have Lupita Nyong'o, Gwendolyn Christie. It's an incredible group. But, you know, we have many months before the movie comes out, and I promise you that we're going to have a lot of fun revealing between now and then the other actors. But how lucky are we to have these three today? Come on.
So now what we have here are some questions from the audience. Fans have been sending them in all week, and we have a few that were gathered just last night from the folks who were camping out. So this question comes from a Star Wars fan in Italy. As a fan, how does it feel to grow up with Star Wars and now be a part of Star Wars? So John, I'm going to throw this to you.
Oh my gosh. So I can't tell you how many times I've played the games of Star Wars on my PS3. Honestly. Right. Force Unleashed 1, Force Unleashed 2, come on. So obviously as a fan coming on set, I obviously freak out a bit seeing Harrison Ford stood right in front of you. But at the same time you do get, you know, cast members to sign your merchandise after a raffle.
John signed his own figurine.
The whole cast.
Was there a particular favorite piece of merchandise that you were like, I gotta get this if nothing else signed?
So I had a Han Solo in Stormtrooper gear, and it was like this big. And I went over to Harrison and said, can you sign my doll? He was like, this is weird. But I'll sign it for you. I got it signed on set.
Here's another question from a fan in Japan. If you were to put yourself in the world of Star Wars, what type of character would you be? Because they're in Star Wars, I'm going to ask you, Kathy, what type of character would you be?
Well, I have to say, I think the interesting thing about that question is I don't think I have a lot of choices.
At least originally. Princess Leia was kind of the only game.
But I'm going to say that that's going to change.
This is something that's important to a lot of fans. When you released that photo, the cast photo, and released the initial cast list, some people noted that it was only Daisy who was new to the cast, representing the females of the galaxy. You know, and I know there are tons of female fans of Star Wars, and I'm raising one. I've got a little girl, she's 5 years old, her name's Audrey, and she loves Star Wars, and I'm kind of excited that there are going to be other characters for her to identify with.
No, there's great new characters, really strong women, and not only in Episode 7, but the conversations we're having moving forward, there are going to be a lot of wonderful new characters. I have 2 girls too, so I'm under a lot of pressure.
All
All right, here's a question from the UK. How hard is it to find the right balance between new and old technology, not in terms of making the film, JJ, but just the sort of battered world that we saw in the original Star Wars saga versus the kind of shiny new one in the prequels? How do you decide which balance to present 30-some years after the events of Return of the Jedi?
Well, I think that again, I sort of said this before, but one of the things that I loved so much about the original trilogy was that sense of everything being real and weathered and lived in and used. It was a world of underdogs, and you just felt you were fighting, you know, against an enemy that was bigger and larger. And so for me, the look and the feel of that technology, it being, you know, anything but pristine, anything but brand new, was really important. I think there needs to be a contrast, the amazing aesthetic, again, the brilliance of what George did, the contrast between, you know, the gleaming empire, you know, and the dusty, you know, cantina and streets.
Amazing Ralph McQuarrie.
Who designed a lot of the look of Star Wars.
So we're very much following that feeling. I mean, this movie takes place decades after Jedi, so this film needs to follow suit in that regard. I think that's what we'll do.
Here's another one. This one comes from the US. It's a tough one. With millions of fans all around the world, are you afraid to disappoint with this movie? And how can you guarantee you will please every single last one?
Well, we just will. Obviously, as they say, you can't please everybody, though we are trying very hard to do just that. But I will say this, that there are moments where the pressure of what we're doing, the responsibility of what we're doing, honoring the legacy, but using the legacy to tell a brand new story that moves forward and makes the fans proud, it's the most important thing that we're all working on. And I will say that though there are moments of, I don't know, I'd say sheer horror at what that is, the reality is I've never had more fun in my life working on anything, and the opportunity far outweighs the risk of this, and I can't wait to see it.
So Kathy, here's a question. James, who came here, he's here from London. This is one of the questions we got up in the line. It is hard to please everybody, he says, but how much do you take into consideration the fan perspective when you're devising these new stories?
I don't think there's anything more important in the Star Wars universe than the fans. You guys talk to us all the time about everything, and we take that really seriously, and we talk about it. It doesn't mean, for obvious reasons, we can do every single thing that is dictated by the fans, but we're fans too, and everybody inside the Lucasfilm organization are fans. Many, many fans are inside the Walt Disney Company. I've been amazed since we've been a partner of the Walt Disney Company now that everybody is a fan. Everybody has a Star Wars story. And that generational experience is something that is really important, and it's everything in terms of the future of Star Wars. So you guys, you energize us. So thank you.
Here's one for JJ. This one comes from Ben. He came here to Anaheim from Ontario, Canada, and it's a pretty basic question. He wants to know, JJ, what advice would you give to a young aspiring filmmaker? Get started.
Well, first of all, I think that the reality is that everyone has a camera in their pocket now. When I was a kid, it wasn't, you know, this ubiquitous thing that everyone just carried a camera around. The ability to just make stories, make films, tell stories is real and is incredible. And when I look at my kids who make a video and they're doing dissolves, and they're putting titles, they're doing visual effects, and you know, things that you could only dream of when I was a kid. To me, it just says that, you know, the technology has been democratized. Everyone has access to the ability to be a filmmaker, and if you want to do it, The only thing stopping you is you. And so do it, and put them out there, let people see them. And I can't wait to see your movies then.
And I gotta say, the fan films that we see all the time, unbelievable. I am continually amazed at the fan films that are created for Star Wars.